back out there. But the stuff I talked about today on my blog and the stuff I'm going to talk to you about today on my video, which is going to be added to the blog, is stuff that I'm very passionate about. I'm going to teach you something that's going to change your freaking life if you will listen. I know that a lot of people are not, you got to say something to them 5 times before they're going to hear it. It's happened to me too. But stop working. That's something that drives me insane, okay? So I want to teach you guys a little known concept out there about the fact that you can make yourself wealthy working less. So this isn't some stupid gimmick or some MLM scheme or something I'm trying to sell or whatever. It's just a bunch of stuff that I have recently learned about, and then I continue to read so many books every month and talk to so many educated, wealthy individuals about these strategies. And it's so funny because I say, oh, hey, I'm making passive income and now I don't have to pay taxes on it. They're like, yeah, is that news? And I'm like, well, I mean, it is to me. Or, we're talking about the fact that, you have certain accounts that you've set up with your old companies, and now you can start self-directing those into investments that now you own the cash flow in that investment. And so again, that type of income isn't a taxable income. It's not earned income. So I'm going to really briefly go over a few of those things. But basically, I'm trying to teach you guys, everybody, are you working to live or are you living to work? So do you know what your passion is in life? Do you know what you love? Probably not. If you look at me a few years ago as a younger person, I've grown a tremendous amount in the last 2 years, right? And so a lot of that came with first figuring out what in the hell my purpose in life was, what my why was. 2, it was figuring out, it's squishing my paperwork to start my fund. Anyway, first thing that you're struggling with is being able to go, oh, why am I here on earth? What is my purpose? What am I doing? And then the next thing to figure out is how are you going to do more of that? Because everyone thinks, oh, I have to get up every day. I have to work for somebody else. I mean, yeah. So first thing, when you want to work for somebody else, it's usually up here. It's usually mindset. So first of all, like I said, there's 2 concepts. First of all, it's figuring out what your why is in life and figuring out, I keep losing this concept because I'm trying to drive in the rain and not die. But anyway, figuring out that your mindset that, you can be a business owner, you can be an investor, you can stimulate the economy, doesn't matter your gender, doesn't matter your freaking age. I'm trying to be an example of that right now because I feel like a lot of people need some, like, the shit knocked out of them. You know what I mean? I'm not driving right now to go work for somebody else. I'm driving right now to go to the gym. I have several income streams that are all passive because guess what? I decided that I wanted every income stream that I had to be passive. You have to figure out what you want, and it starts usually with your why. So my why is to help other people create independence. My why is to help people get out of abusive, toxic relationships, abusive, toxic situations like I was in. And the only way to do that is by creating freedom of time. And you create freedom of time by freedom from the bondage of money. So everybody uses or lets money control the time that they put in. So the blog this morning that I wrote is about, think about it this way, guys. So the government, say if you're in a 30% tax bracket, which means you're a high income earner, so you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a business owner, so like you're a roofer, contractor, something like that, where you're making income, or say, not a construction company unless you are a franchisee or whatever, but basically you're somebody that's a high income earner, you're highly educated, but you have to show up every day to make that income. And again, that income is earned income. So it's like I put in X amount of work to get X amount of dollars. And even though you're not an employee, which is where you're doing the same shit, but the employee is making like $1 or say $15 per hour versus $500 to $2,000 an hour. But still, it's earned income. It's something that you have to show up to make that income. It's not just flowing into your account. So everyone, I'm sure you've heard cash is king, right? 1,000,000 times. Cash is not king. Cash flow is king. So if any of you guys have heard Grant Cardone and his spiel about all the things that he does, he's right. The way that he leverages his assets is a little bit different than how I leverage mine. And that is fine based on our different goals and what money we have access to and all these things. But basically, I just want people to help them to create freedom of time. So think about it this way. So if you're you're a high income earner, you're in a high tax bracket, you're at a 30% income tax bracket. So that means you're losing 30% of your income. So you make $100,000 a year and you're paying the government $30,000 a year. So you're only making $70,000 a year, and that's before all of the different expenses and life things that we got to pay for, right? So instead of making earned income where you're paying the government that amount, you are making passive income. So, and it's also essentially, you can also put it in a business LLC, and there are certain ways that you can basically pay your expenses before you pay taxes. And then, I'm not going to get into all the structure stuff right now. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. That's what they do. And that's why I have meetups, guys. Every month we have meetups to teach you guys these different strategies of how you can save money, how you can make more. And so the thing is how not to make more, how to keep more. So that's the thing. If you guys have ever read any of the Rich Dad Poor Dad series, again, it's not, I make $500,000 and then I spend $250,000 on taxes and all of the different expenses I have. It's I make $500,000 and I only spend $10,000 on all the expenses that I have, because instead of making them all personal expenses, they're business expenses, or the income that's coming in is not earned income, it's passive income. So instead of having to pay earned income taxes, the government gives you a huge break for being an investor, for making passive income. So again, back to my topic, think about spending 30% of your income just paying the government, just paying the piper, or paying the man or whatever, right? Instead, you don't have to. So think about it. You're spending 30% of your life literally making enough money to pay somebody else. That's it. Can you imagine if you lived 100 years, you're spending 30 freaking years of your life, which if you think about it, that's the prime of your life, paying somebody else. That's retarded. Why would you do that? Instead of being able to do that, you guys need to sit there, especially if you're in a position where you're a chiropractor, a doctor, a lawyer, a business owner, someone that you're still making earned income, but it's a high amount of earned income. You need to take a percentage of that now, today, this year, and put it into a cash flowing investment. There's so many different vehicles out there. We call them alternative investment vehicles. And that's why I spend so much time every week going to Quest Trust Company, because they have a lot of account holders there who have the ability to take their accounts that they've had from old jobs and be able to roll it into a self-directed account, so then they can pick the investment that it goes into, and they're the ones that are basically deciding what type of income is this making me. What I'm going to put this into this project or that project or whatever. Do I want to stick into a mutual fund or something where I'm making 4 to 7% a year, or would I rather make double that every year plus a lot more than that, depending on the type of investment you're looking at. So I'm going to go over a few alternative investments. Again, I'm going to be speaking at Quest Trust Company today. I do every freaking Wednesday. I've got some webinars coming up with New View Trust Company out of Orlando, Florida. I'm partnering with another trust company in Denver, Colorado, because I just really want to help people. And I hate that most of the people in that room are people that have had their life. They've spent their life working for somebody else, and basically they're taking what they did put aside because the company probably made them, and it's in a government-held vehicle. So there are ways that you can then move that government vehicle, so a Roth IRA or a 401k, and move it into a self-directed account to where you are in charge of it. So you're also able to make more, you're able to save more money on taxes even by self-directing these accounts as well. But I'm not going to get into all that. I'm just reading so many different books about, being able to save as much money as possible by being strategic on how you pay taxes, what taxes you pay, when you pay your taxes, what kind of entities they're in, so that you're protected for legal purposes, you're protecting your assets, and then also, again, protecting your money. So anyway, just blew my mind this morning when I was thinking about it, that people are spending 30% of their freaking life paying somebody else. That's it. Wouldn't you rather have, 30 years of your life to go lay on the beach or go knit? Or like for me, my big why right now, getting my ass out of bed, and I've realized I used to make excuses last year for not doing more of this, but I need to get in front of groups of women. I want to take people like myself who are in relationships or in places in their life where they feel trapped. They feel stuck. They feel like there's no other option, that they need to financially depend on this person. They need to depend on this person emotionally. They need to be living with this person. They have no other alternatives, places to move. I want to change that mindset and be able to, like, I know you guys are going to hate that I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say this in front of every group of women that I'm going to be in front of. So many times I see people, or women, women, especially in the South, that maybe came from a wealthy family. I did not, so I have no other choice but to hustle every day. But I even went through a phase in my life where I kind of dabbled in trying to depend on men to provide things for me, like money or provide whatever for me, right? And every single frickin' time, I hate to say this, but I also, was not in a healthy relationship because I didn't spend the time working on myself because I needed time to do that. But instead of spending time doing that, I did the easy route and I basically lived on somebody else. You know what I mean? I've tried it myself. And so in that situation where it's not a respectful relationship, a shared relationship where you two are just like, promoting each other and making each other, lifting each other up, every time it ended up in disappointment. And so I ended up one time basically saying someone's going to change the locks and you need to get out of the house. You no longer have a place to live. Or in a situation where you even have a decent relationship, but then someone leaves me for someone more attractive and younger. And then where do I have to go? Nowhere. I'm sick and tired of seeing women stuck in that situation. Or, for example, if you're talking about like toxic codependency or, abuse, we get this trapped woman syndrome where we don't feel like we can leave. And so showing people how to create independence through cash flow and through real estate and through alternative investments is something I'm very passionate about. And so now that I've been able to create more time for myself, I'm able to get out there and do more of this. And so that's a big passion of mine. But I want everybody else, regardless of what your passion is, I'm not going to judge. I don't care what it is. But all of us have a purpose here on earth. All of us have a reason why we are brought into this existence. And I feel like everybody should have some time to kind of figure that out. And you can't figure that shit out when you're spending every day, working 9 to 5 and you're showing up trying to work for somebody else and you're under their pressure and you're I want you to be able to create your own independence. And so I want to teach people that that 30% or the 30 years of your life that you could be spending your time paying somebody else, you could be spending your time pursuing what's really important to you instead. And instead of having a liability, or basically instead of making cash flow, you're paying out, you're basically taking that away from yourself from being able, I just lost my train of thought, so I'm trying to drive. But basically, instead of spending that 30 years, you could be cash flowing money, you could be making money, and then also be able at the same time to pursue what you enjoy and what you're passionate about. So I just really have always had a passion for life and have been able to have that drive me to find something or find opportunities in life that are going to give me the ability to do that every freaking day. We only have today. And so stopping yourself from doing it because it's all up here is bullcrap, and so again, I'm trying to get out there and say, hey, I just turned 30 years old, I'm a female, I'm single, I don't live with anybody, I'm not married, and I'm able to figure this all out myself. A lot of people that I know have been very fortunate to get into the investment space and be able to start making passive income because they have a spouse, because they have someone that, for example, if they choose a project that they screw up on, which is always their fear, then they are like, okay, it's okay, I have a spouse that will still feed me, and I'll still have a place to live and a roof over my head. I don't have that fear because of all the past that I've been through. So I know that I could lose everything I have and start back over at square one, and I can still bartend. And all the stuff that I've learned is still up here. It doesn't go away. So, and I can leverage that and teach other people, and then again, start over. Everyone that's been successful in life, they don't fear failure. So it's because that you have these skills. But anyway, so I want to teach people how to create K1 or passive income and then be able to lower your tax bracket or eliminate the taxes that you pay altogether. So basically, you're being able to pay for all of your expenses and essentially break even. So in my head, I don't understand why somebody that would be able to not essentially have any expenses that you have to trade time for money to get to pay for, why everything, like you have an asset that creates cash flow, that pays for your expenses, and then you're hands off. What do you have to do every day? You don't have to do anything except for pursue your passion. I want to provide that to more people in this life. So honestly, that's why I have a meetup every month. And I was a little sad last night because, I'm not a forceful person. I'm very busy pursuing my career, and I'm flying all over the place looking at properties and meeting with people and doing what I do so I can really grow and impact people in a large way. So I don't get out there and do a ton of promo videos and bug you guys, and I do email my private investor list when we have a meetup coming up to remind you to come. But we only had like 10 people last night, and it drives me nuts that there are so many people out there that come to my meetup, for example, and they're there to push their products. because they're working for somebody else. They're not even present. They're not in the room listening to what we're saying. We're talking about opportunities for you to stop doing that crap, for you to present yourself, for you to get yourself the ability to create assets and get rid of liabilities. So if you've ever read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the whole premise of the whole thing and all the things on a very simplistic level is to be able to have more assets than you have liabilities. So essentially, anything in your life, what's an asset? What's a liability? Anything in your life that is making you cash flow. So not cash is king, cash flow is king. Anything, why is my blinker still on? Oh, wrong one. Anything in your life that is creating passive income, not earned, where you have to show up every day to make it, that is an asset. Anything. Don't care what it is. If you're a MLM person, whatever, who cares? Same crap. As long as you're not in your business and you're working on your business, so you're not showing up every day, you're not a general manager, you're not training people, you're outside of your business and you're working on it. That is an asset. Now, a liability, like I said, is anything that doesn't cash flow. So think about your mortgage. Think about your car. Think about expenses. And I get it. People have kids and they have to pay for the kids' sports and all this other stuff. That's fine. But guess what? Then you just need to have a few more assets and not liabilities to, again, make it a net zero. So all of your assets pay for your liabilities. And you try to reduce the unnecessary liabilities that you don't need. Like I drive a 2014 Acura RDX. It's paid off. And I could go buy a new car, and I could have for a little bit here now, but I learned this lesson when I bought my first cool car. I had a crappy, well, it was fine. It was a very used car I bought for $5,000 when I was in high school, and I drove it all through college, and then I ended up not doing enough maintenance on the car, and basically when you get to a high mileage, you need to continue to change your oil, basic, right? Whatever. But I had an Acura, and Acuras are super dependable like Hondas, and that was it. I just didn't pay one time to get the oil changed, so the transmission started slipping. Long story short, that if I bought a whole new transmission, that would have been $2,000, and I probably could have put it on a payment plan and gotten it squashed in like 3-4 months or something like that, and then I would have it again free. And then again, you're not paying for the expensive insurance, you're just paying for liability insurance, on and on and on. So again, something that you're not paying for, like a vehicle that is paid off, that is an asset. Because now what I could do, if I had to do a loan against my car to get something done, I can. It's an asset that adds to my balance sheet. So again, I'm not going to rave and rant too long, but one thing that puts it into perspective is, for me in real estate investment, you have an REO or a SREO schedule. So when you go to a bank and you're trying to get a loan, they want to see your assets and your liabilities. So a SREO is a statement of real estate owned, and your PFS is a personal financial statement. Those two things are the things that you're going to need to bring to the bank to leverage to get more loans from more cash flowing properties. So, for example, if you have something that's cash flowing and then you're able to, a physical asset, or even if it's a, let's just say physical asset, you're able to pull cash out of that, refinance cash out, you can then take that amount and go buy another one and cash flow that thing, and then pull money out of that and go buy another one. And you can keep doing this thing, and that's part of like the BRR, or the buy, rehab, refinance, or rehab, refinance, resell, whatever structure, and you can do that with so many things. But anyway, so long story short is I just want to teach you guys about K1 income. Go Google that, go YouTube that, whatever you got to do, I don't care. Share this with your friends, please. Like, love, hearts this video. I want this video to go viral. I want you to share it everywhere, because I want more people to come to my meetup. And we do it once a month. More people to get their mindset in the right place, where they understand that they can do whatever they want to. They can pursue their why, and then also not having the self-limiting beliefs that you can't be an investor, and I don't have enough cash today, and I can't do this, and I can't get started today, and excuses. I just interviewed a woman this week. You guys need to tune into my podcast and listen to her, Beth Azor. I don't know if we've actually published it yet or not, but she has made almost $1 billion in real estate. And guess how she got started? Someone in her life kicked her ass and said, you know what? I know that you make $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, but again, it's earned income. You're paying taxes on it. You think you make a lot of money, so you're buying stupid shit like Jaguars and shoes and going on vacations and not having your cash flow pay for that. You're paying for that out of your earned income. So someone kicked her ass, took her to the bank, and had her at the time things have changed as far as where you should take this money out of, whether it's friends, family, business line of credit, personal line of credit, loan. I mean, there's all kinds of different vehicles. That's something you need to ask me about, because it's something that I do and these people I hang out with, what we do. But to take that income, put it into a project that with you doing nothing, it's making you income. You're getting mailbox money, and it's passive income. It's K1 income. The K1 income is not taxed at the high tax bracket that you would be taxed at if you were making earned income, even though it's the same amount. So if you're making $200K at K1 income or $200K at at earned income, you're going to be taxed in a way higher tax bracket and more loss of that income if you are making earned income versus passive income. So, I mean, guys, talk to me about what I do for a living, and that's making people passive income. Literally. Again, I'm not selling anything. And if you don't want to invest in apartments, I don't give a crap. If you want to invest in single family houses, which have more risk and they're more volatile because they follow the market, the real estate market, which does this every 10 years, cool, go for it. I have tons of friends that do passive investments. I'm invested in real estate notes in houses. I own partial notes in houses, and I'm making 8% passive return every month. Kristen Gerst, she does that. That's who I invested with. Again, one other female, kicking ass. But again, passive income. Anything that I do, if I'm like, I'm going to do a hotel. Okay, the way that I broke it down, that's not enough passive income for me. There's a lot of earned, and I have to be in the business managing things and managing people. No, I only have so much time, so you have to think of ways to bring in passive income. There's so many alternative investments out there, guys. Stocks are another opportunity out there too. I don't know shit about stocks. I know other people that do though. So again, if you reach out to me, I can connect you with them. But one thing with stocks, again, you'll see in my blog, is that the stocks, whenever you have a capital gains event, so when you sell and you say you buy it for $5, you sell it for $10, you have a $5 gain. That $5 gain, the government wants to tax you on that new income. So because of the way stocks are made to be, there is no way to get into that lower capital gains bracket that you would if you were doing it into a leveraged piece of real property. If it's a capital gain in a stock investment, you have to pay the full tax bracket that you're in. So, I mean, if you're smart, there's other opportunities that you could do. If you owned a company, you could make your grandparents or some old people that are retired in your family shareholders in that company, and then you can utilize their tax bracket of like 15%, 10%, whatever it is. But blah, blah, blah. There's so many strategies. Again, that's something else I can help with. Or my accountant can help with. But if you're in real property, then you are actually able to be in that lower tax bracket because it's real estate. Now, you can 1031 exchange or like-kind exchange stocks for a larger stock. So you make that $5, and then the government goes, okay, well, if you put that $5 into a $10 property, which is larger now, or 200% or less of what you're sold your property at, then we will defer your taxes, and we will not tax you this year on that gain. We will tax you next time you sell and have another capital gains event. And so basically what we teach is that you can continue to defer till you die, but there's also other real estate investment vehicles like opportunity zones, for example, where if you have that asset for longer than 10 years, any money that you put into that will never, ever, ever be subject to capital gains taxes. So if you make it past 10 years and you cash out then, you don't have to pay that 30-40% tax that would be in your bracket or whatever, or the 20% capital gains lower bracket or whatever. Long story short, I know a bazillion different alternative investments, a bazillion different ways to save you guys money, a bazillion different ways to make you money. So you guys need to come to our meetups and get educated and get going now. I'm tired of seeing excuses where young people are literally working at a freaking tanning salon. Stop it. Literally, I will teach you how to make a chunk of money. Or, for example, if you're someone my age, like 30, usually you've worked for some kind of company, hopefully at this point in time, where it's like a bank or something where they made you put away a 401k account, or they made you do something smart with your money. And so I've got lots of friends that are my age that at least have 25k put away. And so if you could take that 25k and you've moved companies, it's an old account, roll it over to a self-directed account, and then double that money to 50k in 2 years, would you do it? And then would you also be able to be excited that not only are you doubling that account, but also in the meantime, while that project is holding that amount of money, that original 25k, you're also making 8 to 15% return quarterly, cash money, like checks in your freaking mailbox while they're holding your money. That's what we do. And there's other friends of mine that do other different types of investments. But We want you to make mailbox money while we're holding your money. And then when the investment sells or we trade up or whatever, then you get that big check, Anyway, and then, if you have an investment account, you're putting it back into that account. And guess what? It's tax-free. So you're not being taxed on it, and it's building your wealth if you're still in the mindset where you think that you have to have money to retire. You don't. You need to have cash flowing assets, and then you could retire today if all of your expenses were covered, right? Because what's the point? You need enough money to cover your expenses, right? Lower your expenses, increase your cash flow. Peace out. Do whatever you want. It's really a simple formula. And because I'm single, I have no kids, my expenses are low, I was able to do it a lot faster than a lot of married people or people that wait their whole life and they have a ton of assets liabilities like several houses and several cars and lots of things that they have to pay money to maintain. I don't have that stuff. I don't have all the baggage. So I was able to do it a lot quicker. And then now I can leverage that and grow that. And then I can buy those fun things like multiple houses and multiple cars and things like that from the cash flow. And we structure it and put it into different accounts that are tax-free, that are business expenses now. So I'm paying I could go on for days. All right, I'm done. I'm going to post this video with the to you because that's important to me. All right, guys, peace.